In Job chapter 29, Job explained how men had respected him and how he earned that respect by walking in the friendly counsel of God. He'd walked in the light when there was darkness around, for God was his light. He had supported the widows and the poor. When he came to the gate, the place of judgment, the young men hid, the old men rose, everyone stopped speaking. He'd take his seat, and people would come to him, and he would meet their needs, whatever they were. Even sitting as judge, when someone was oppressed, he would deliver them. There was no partiality in his dealing, and God had blessed him greatly, so that everyone stood in awe of him. And he'd driven the wicked out of town. They had to go and live in the hills. But now they mock me, men younger than I, whose fathers I disdain to put with the dogs of my flock. Indeed, what profit is the strength of their hands to me? Their vigour has perished. They are gaunt from want and famine, fleeing late to the wilderness, desolate and waste, who pluck mallow by the bushes and broom tree roots for their food. They were driven out from among men. They shouted at them as at a thief. They had to live in the clefts of the valleys, in caves of the earth and the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they nestled. They were sons of fools. They were scourged from the land. But now I am their taunting song. Yes, I am their byword. They abhor me. They keep far from me. They do not hesitate to spit in my face, because he has loosed my bowstring and afflicted me. They have cast off restraint before me. At my right hand the rabble arises. They push away my feet, and they raise against me their ways of destruction. They break up my path. They promote my calamity. They have no helper. They come as broad breakers. Under the ruinous storm they roll along. Terrors are turned upon me. They pursue my honour as the wind. My prosperity has passed like a cloud. And now my soul is poured out because of my plight. The days of affliction take hold of me. My bones are pierced in me at night, and my gnawing pains take no rest. By great force my garment is disfigured. It binds me as the collar of my coat. He has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up, and you regard me, but you have become cruel to me. With the strength of your hand you oppose me. You lift me up to the wind and cause me to ride on it. You spoil my success, for I know that you will bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Surely he would not stretch out his hand against a heap of ruins, if they cry out when he destroys it. Have I not wept for him who is in trouble? Has not my soul grieved for the poor? But when I looked for good, evil came to me, and when I waited for light, then came darkness. My heart is in turmoil and cannot rest. Days of affliction confront me. I go about mourning, but not in the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry out for help. I am a brother of jackals and a companion of ostriches. My skin grows black and falls from me. My bones burn with fever. My harp is turned to mourning, and my flute to the voice of those who weep. My name's Arthur, and I thank you for joining me as we share from Job chapter 30 and continue in this rather long speech of Job, which runs for 6 chapters, in which he has declared the greatness of God in creation and acknowledges that we cannot understand all the things that God has made. We search out for minerals in the earth and we can find them, but we cannot find wisdom that way. gold and silver cannot buy wisdom. And so for man, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. But Job has shared with us the joy that he had when he was walking in the light of the Lord, and the Lord was blessing his path on every way. And as he loved the words of God, God gave him wisdom, and he used that wisdom for the blessing of others. He had walked in the friendly counsel of God. But now God has withdrawn from him. He is in the darkness, and the light of the Lord is not with him. And so men have turned against him. Those who feared him now laugh at him. They followed him when they could get benefit from him. But now those who he drove from society because of their wickedness and their children have come back into society, and they lead the mocking of Job. They spit in his face. They laugh at his calamity. And Job has no power. He has no vigour. His strength is gone. His skin has turned black. His bones burn. He is in continual agony, physically, as well as being mocked by those who once he chastised. I am their byword. I am their taunting song. They rejoice. They say, well, what use was righteousness? We can pursue our own way now. Job has no more power, and we can do what we like. And so they rise up against him to put him away. In all this distress, he cries out to God, and God does not answer him. I cry out to you, but you do not answer me. I stand up and you regard me, but you have become cruel to me. With the strength of your hand you oppose me. So not only is men against him, but God has brought all this calamity upon him. But this is exactly what happened to the Lord Jesus on the cross. In the 3 hours of darkness, God withdrew from him, and he bore all the waves and billows of the wrath of God in his body on the tree. I know that you will bring me to death, to the house appointed for all living. For though he had had great success, yet there is no way Job can avoid death. But why would someone attack a heap of ruins? I looked for good, but evil came to me. If these things can happen to Job, and these things happen to the Lord Jesus, and other godly men in life have experienced great sorrow in this life, we can see God's judgment on this world and everything that's in this world. Indeed, the New Testament declares that this world as we know it shall be destroyed. It shall be reformed. It shall be made new when the Lord Jesus establishes a new heavens and new earth where righteousness dwells. In that world, things will be as we wish they were in this world. But we must choose righteousness now if we are to participate in that kingdom of righteousness then. If we don't come aside to the Lord Jesus, if we don't come outside to Job sitting in the ash heap and align ourselves with righteousness, then we shall not experience the joy of that wonderful kingdom. Well, Job's words are not ended yet. We have one more chapter of this speech and more for others to say and a response from God. But we can always recognize that just because things have turned bad for a person does not mean that God is not involved in their lives. And God's people may well experience periods of darkness in their lives when their faith and trust in God is severely tested, when the light of the Lord does not shine upon them, and when they are in great pain and agony. But even in those circumstances, we need to be like Job. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.